Cronje was heard to say that he'd spoken to 3 South African cricketers and had a plan for fixing the game. According to the transcript, the bookmaker says everything's according to plan. They have to score at least 250, and if you score 270, it's off. OK, says Cronje. At dawn, Cronje went to see one of the South African bowlers.
He said to me that I must go for more than 50 in my 10 overs. So what he basically said, I must underperform in that game, and we mustn't score more than 270. The team mustn't score more than 270, otherwise the deal is off.
And did he tell you how much money you would get as a result of this?
25,000 euros, that was the amount I can remember.
$25,000?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I thought, well, it's a lot of money, but I don't think what the consequences may be.
In the event, Cronje wasn't able to rig the game and no money changed hands. When the authorities back home were told that their hero had been overheard trying to fix a match, they refused to believe it.
The allegations are outrageous. Hansie Cronje is a man of unquestionable honesty and integrity.
Cronje himself then protested his innocence.
And if you check my cash bank accounts, that I think is the only thing that's going to clear me, because as I've said, you know, I've not received any money.
Well, I suppose he thought he was beyond being caught, really. He was captain of the South African team. He wouldn't be caught, you know. It was easy money. Who would know?
Ask the good people here to create the minimum of disturbance.
In South Africa, an inquiry was set up to look at the allegations. The evidence the King Commission found was overwhelming. Cronje was forced to admit that he'd taken up to $15,000 from a bookmaker. He called it money for jam.
Words cannot begin to describe the shame, humiliation and pain which I feel in the knowledge that I have inflicted this on others.
People were absolutely speechless. It was as though the entire country came to a standstill. And of course, most South Africans, given that Hansie had been such a hero, such an icon, such a symbol, didn't want to believe that any of it was true.
I thought to myself that, well, if we're going to struggle to win this test match and this guy is giving out money for jam, then I'm not going to be stupid and not take it. So unfortunately, I took the money, and it is a mistake that I made, and I accept it.
Hansie Cronje could have had the rest of his life as being a demigod in his country, I suspect, similar to the reputation that Sir Donald Bradman has held all his life in Australia, whereas now his life, in my view, and his reputation is completely ruined.
In India, Cronje's partial admission now started to lift the lid on a scandal. It was much bigger and much wider than anyone had so far realized. And it was obviously continuing.
Well, we have not yet concluded our investigations. Investigations are still to be completed in UK as well as South Africa.
Former England cricketers Mike Gatting and John Embury successfully challenged a last-minute threat to their rebel tour of South Africa. Anti-apartheid campaigners tried to make them appear as witnesses in a British court case while the tour is on. Also today, protesters disrupted the press conference given by the rebel English cricket team, who leave on a tour of South Africa tonight.
The first photo call of the Rebels tour and a taste of things to come. Thousands threatened disruption in South Africa. Today at a Surrey hotel, it took scarcely a handful.
You listen to the wishes of the majority of the people of South Africa, that you understand that you are being paid by the apartheid regime in South Africa, that they are subsidising this tour.
The photo session abandoned. Next for interruption, the press conference.
I'm sure there'll be demonstrations when we get out there.
How much are they paying you, Mr. Gatting? How much are they paying you to go to South Africa? What's the blood money like in South Africa? You're going to get a nice new car out of this, Mr. Gatting. You're going to get a yacht out of this, a second home, Mr. Yachting. You're going to get lots of nice perks for the rest of your life on the backs of the blacks of South Africa.
It all left the players, many with young families, anxious about what lies ahead, but they defend their right to go.
I'm not a politician. I'm a cricketer, and I've been asked to go and play cricket.
Mark Austin, ITN Sport, Surrey.
Next from ITN is Channel 4 News.
Presidential villas, 20 hunting lodges and 21 palaces in Romania. One suggestion is that his biggest palace will be used as a university. As a first step, the front has legally taken possession of it all for the state. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Bucharest.
The High Court in London has given Mike Gatting the all-clear to lead the rebel cricket tour to South Africa. It overturned an earlier ruling which would have forced him to appear as a witness in a London trial during the tour. Meanwhile, anti-apartheid protesters have disrupted a news conference given by England's rebel cricketers.
This Surrey hotel had become the overnight headquarters of the South African tourists. They trained together for the first time this morning after other, more conventional venues had refused them admission. Then came just a taste of what they can expect in the next 6 weeks. A letter from the anti-apartheid movement urging an 11th hour change of mind and delivered by hand for maximum effect. It was followed shortly afterwards by a second one-man protest at a specially arranged news conference.
For the rest of your life on the backs of the blacks of South Africa. You're going to get a lot of money out of this, Mr. Gatting.
Mike Gatting kept his composure throughout. When the tour was announced, he said he didn't know anything about apartheid. Now he says that's changed.
I know a bit more about the mechanics now. I know about the Group Areas Act, the Immunities Act, and a lot of other little acts. And since I've done my homework, one of the acts has been scrapped. A lot of political prisoners have been released, and we understand the release of Mandela is imminent. But that's for the politicians to sort out.
In South Africa, a hostile reception awaits them. Protest leaders are no longer guaranteeing peaceful methods.
Let us go and destroy it at the point where it must be destroyed. Talking is not going to stop this tour. We have a golden opportunity to engage in very defiant mass action for people's power in this country.
Peaceful demonstrations I will support, provided it's peaceful. I think people who want to watch cricket without having any interruptions, I think their rights should be protected too.
The players checked in at Heathrow with the sounds of protest still ringing in their ears. The flight to Johannesburg will be their last long moments of quiet for some time.